walls of men with the shields and the batons stepping forward. I think they'll resort to that. Mass graves found near Mexico where 43 students disappeared. Let's see. Japan volcano rescue work. I haven't heard about this. Oh, that's right. The volcano has already killed some people. Now that's a story. So you're out there in Japan. You're rescuing people from a place where there's an active volcano. Some people have already died. And you have to stop because a typhoon's coming. That's Japan, man, is a fucked up place to live. That's all I got to say about that. It's beautiful. I have a friend that lives over there. But fuck that. Something's going to get you. In Japan, something's going to get you. If it's not a bomb, it's going to be a tsunami. If it's not a tsunami, a typhoon. Not a typhoon, a volcano. I mean, they're on the Pacific Rim. They're in the Ring of Fire. And they have Godzilla. You can't win if you're in Japan. Something's going to get you. Something's going to get you. It might be the blowfish. You don't want to eat a poison fish that hasn't been prepared well. Have you ever looked at videos of Japanese people on a subway? Here's another homework assignment for you. Look it up. Look it up on Google. Look it up on YouTube and look at Japanese people or random footage of Japanese people in the subway. Ain't one of those motherfuckers smiling, guys. Not one. Most of them appear half asleep. You know why? Because they'll be working 20 hours a day. They will work themselves literally to death. I don't know a lot good about being in Japan today. Honestly. It just looks like... I mean, there's a perfect example of culture and lifestyle taking you to your death quickly. And maybe it has to do with their environmental threats. I don't know. But I don't think they've been happy since before World War II. That's my little thing on it. You can tell me I'm wrong and you can prove I'm wrong, but that's what I'm going to stick to till I see something different. 2 bombings killed 10 in Pakistan. How is this making news? I mean, this happens at lunchtime in Pakistan. I mean, we aren't even getting to the dinner time show yet. 10 killed, that's nothing. At Hajj, Saudi Arabia clerics step up anti-Islamic State drive. Wow. Well, according to the religious officials in Saudi Arabia, IS militants are enemies of Islam, and they warn pilgrims of child recruitment. So apparently people going for the Mecca are losing their children that are getting kidnapped, that are going to be sold into either slavery for ISIS or sex slaves, or as soldiers that are forced to be soldiers. How about that shit? I don't know. I think I'll just go freestyle now. What are we going to talk about? I was talking... I did a show earlier today and it failed to upload. Japan, not a fan. What about Gamera, Indian same? I don't know what you mean by Gamera. Anyway, so maybe Andrew can clarify that for me. I was talking earlier today when I was trying to do a show that didn't upload. It was a quick one. It was called the Frogcast, which was a podcast or a broadcast from my frog. The frog being my scooter, and it got its name by being hoppy. And I was talking there about field reporters and how they like to inject drama into their news. I mean, you see these people, right, when a hurricane's coming. And let me back up a second. I just used the word right in a way that I hate to hear it used. So I'm going to retract that and continue. You see these people injecting drama into their news story. Now, they could be ordered to do that by their boss. That sells papers, that gets you to tune into the next story, all of that type of stuff. But if you see somebody out in 10-mile-an-hour winds, okay, and they're leaning at a 45-degree angle as if they have to stay afoot, it is time at that point to start questioning what's real on that whole network. Because now you're basically seeing evidence that they're lying to you, and they're doing it physically with body language. If your boss is ordering you to do that, I say to a field reporter, go up to your boss and say, "Boss, we are putting forth a false idea here. And if we are found out doing this, if we are exposed doing this, then we are going to lose credibility, which is always a fight, and we need to not take any dents in our credibility. However, boss, if you insist that I do this and I can't find another job, then I'll have to do it." That's what I would ask of the field reporter who's asked to get overly dramatic with their news. Because to me, and anybody who's, I know I'm an English major, folks, so we're a little bit more picky on this stuff, but anybody who's a fan of journalism, real journalism, is going to disrespect you for injecting extra drama into your story. Your story should speak for itself. If it's a slow news day, fine news, you know. You don't create drama on a nonsense story. For those that didn't know, I did a parody. It got some dislikes on YouTube of field reporters, and it was Hurricane Sandy was coming. Now, this is before it hit, but CNN been busted using green screen. I did not know that, Andrew. Could you share a link to that if you have it? I didn't know CNN was busted. I know most of the people that listen to this show are conservative, and they have these, they've got these sources of center or left news outlets lying and doing stuff like that. And but I find it funny because I find that Fox News, according to the record, seems to be the most inconsistent with facts, rather than the center or left ones. But I think these news organizations, these news outlets, they tell their people what their people want to hear. And that's why I end up looking for something like BBC and just say, take me out of this American bullshit and give me the outside perspective that's looking in. No links from phone, okay. You know, I've seen some videos that claim to show like Anderson Cooper talking to a terrorist who, or not a terrorist, but somebody who's fighting terrorists in Pakistan or something, and he's going, "Oh, you know, we need to hear the gunshots." So you know, this anti-terrorist guy saying, "Make sure to have the gunshots fire when I'm on the call." And I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about the authenticity of the footage that was off camera. So, you know, yeah, Fox is crap too. They're just not a good source for news, folks. I mean, if you go to Fox for news, you're going because you want to be told what they're saying. If you want to go for accurate news, Fox isn't your source. And I can't even suggest anything like MSNBC, you know, which is far left. If you want to look at both of them and a CNN and a BBC, then I'm down with that. And what you're going to find is a lot of inconsistencies, and you're going to have to iron that out. You're going to have to iron that out doing fact checking and reference checking. And that's not fun work. But once you do that just a few times, you're going to find the appropriate reliability rating you should be putting on your news sources. Now, ignore me if Fox News is telling you what you want to hear. I've got one friend that says, I watch Fox News because the chicks on there have beautiful lips. I can't blame him for that. I can't blame him. Because there's a lot of bullshit put out in the media. It's very rare to find a media organization that seems totally dedicated to truth, and I think it comes down to two things. One is excitement sells, and the truth is rarely exciting. And that kind of leads into the second thing, which is my opinion that the truth is relatively boring. That's why this show is never going to be huge. It's never going to be huge because I'm not putting drama into it, and we're not lying. You need lies for excitement when the truth is boring, don't you? Well, we're just going to have to keep being boring. RT is okay, yeah. But again, anti-US always. Yeah, Russian Times, I've found them interesting. Apocalypse likes them. I like the fact that they'll talk about supernatural stuff, where I can't seem to get any other news organization to talk about that. So that kind of impresses me. But you can feel that Russian. It almost feels like a Cold War kind of an angst toward America. We're the imperialist. We're going to dominate the world. And I agree that under W, we did appear that way. But I think that's been reined in now. I think it was not the case before W. Even with his father in office, he ran a tight ship. We didn't go trying to dominate the whole world. We need to stop being the world's police force, but we do need to be available to small countries that are being invaded through no fault of their own, no provocation. And we need to be available for humanitarian effort in all cases. And that includes when something like Syria happens. And I said 2 years ago we needed to have boots on the ground in Syria, because you have 10-year-olds getting gang raped by Assad's regime. This is true stuff. And then beheaded, or their parents beheaded in front of them. Okay? And this is the government doing this to the people. Say nothing of terrorists. When that happens, can you see that mother in there looking out the window saying, "Where's America? Where's the UN? Nobody can save us from our own government"? If you're the most powerful country in the world, you got to do something when that happens. And if you don't, then you got to live with that. At least set a fire under the UN's ass to get UN help in there. You can't just say, well, it's a big clusterfuck. Everybody's rumor is Alex Jones dead. Not been heard from in a week. I heard about that. Everybody's looking for Alex Jones. Is he just trying to stir up publicity, you think? How much you want to bet? He went on vacation in Hawaii, and he said to all of his people, don't tell him. Don't tell him. Just tell him I'm missing. Yeah, stir up a bunch of... He's a smart guy. He's smart. I hope he doesn't believe half the shit he says. I'm proud of what he's done as a capitalist, but I'm ashamed of what he's done to large masses of people that choose to follow him, because he screws them in the paranoia hole and then sells them the cure to the disease he just gave them. That's the way I like to word it. I think instead of doing a break, I think we'll just get ready to close this show here, because I don't feel like I have a lot more to offer. I'm beating on the news a little bit. I'm beating on people, and that tells me that that tells me that I'm reaching. So, Coast Guard rescues man attempting to reach Bermuda in homemade bubble. I've got to pull that up, and that's Fox News. How about that? So, a longtime endurance runner and peace activist whose latest goal is to reach Bermuda in a homemade floating hydropod, he calls it, was rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard on Saturday after he began suffering from fatigue. God, suffering from fatigue. Yeah, you mean like everybody else in the world suffers from toward the end of the day? Gotcha. Hey, if you're going to live in a bubble, you're going to die in a bubble. That's how that works. Flag from 9/11 is lost in Flight 93 memorial fire. I don't know about that, Fox. So anyway, look at this. British hostage David Bolam freed by militants in Libya. Wow. Now, why would they do that? They've been killing everybody else. Let's look at this. Either somebody made a deal, or they're trying to gain wider support by showing we care too. Now, why would they let him go? That doesn't make sense. A prisoner swap in the U.S., possible reference. Oh, yeah. Well, it has not been officially confirmed that it was even ISIS, so that story's not even worth the time. Yeah, I'm going to let that one go. You can look that up if you want. It seems very unusual, though, if it was ISIS, to let somebody go. It's not their MO. Info whores. So what do you think, Andrew? You think Alex Jones is dead? Would you be